First geometry test that you guys will be taking. First question is going to be in regards to the undefined terms. These are the three basic definitions we first talked about. Point. What else? Line. Line and plane. Good. So remember the three words. Point, line, and plane. Okay? The next one. How many points do we use to name a line? Two. Good. 2 points. How many to name a plane? 3. 3 points. You can use the one letter in the corner, but if you were talking in regards to points, it should be 3. 2. Name the intersection of plane EWF and FXW. So some of us had a hard time with this one on the worksheet. My recommendation was trace EWF, connect those. You see how it's kind of tracing that back rectangle? Finish it off, and then just shade it in. And we're going to do the same thing with FXZ. So here's F, X, and Z. So the question is, what do they share? What points do they share? Do they share any points? X. What else? F and X? Okay. Trying to change the color here. All right. So F and X. So does 2 points identify a point, a line, or a plane? A line. Good. That was the question we just answered, remember? All right. So FX. Line, FX. All right. Which lines do not intersect at point E? Guys, I'm going to make this easy. If a line has to intersect point E, and here's point E. If I come out to all the points that do connect with it, it's always going to be E with that letter. See that E with G, E with W, and E with F. So if I want to circle all the ones that don't intersect it, which ones am I going to focus on?
Y, Z, and X. Or H2.
So if all these lines connect to E, aren't they all going to have E in the name?
Yeah.
Right? G to E, W to E, F to E. So if I'm circling all the ones that do not intersect at E, which ones should I focus on?
A, D.
All the ones that do not have a E. There you go. That's what I was hoping for. Okay. How many planes are on this box? How many planes do y'all see? In other words, how many sides are on this box?
6.
Should be 6 sides. Top, bottom, left and right, front and back. All right, going to number 5. You guys will see this picture, by the way. Which lines intersect plane A in the image shown? So what lines are actually going through the plane? Is Q to R going through the plane? Like the way my pencil stepped through it? This one's lying on it. Okay, so Q to R is not. How about P to T? Is P to T going through my plane? Yes. All right, so we're going to go ahead and circle P to T. How about into Q? Yes. How about T to S? No. All right, we'll cross that one out. How about S to R? No as well. How about V to R? Yes. All right, we'll circle that one. All right, how about the next one? How about W to T? No. How about M and W? Okay. And the last one, how about M and P? Nope. All right. So our answer should have been B, C, F, and H. So again, when it's intersecting the plane, it's stabbing through. So if you want to add the word stabbing there. Okay, next one. We're looking at 6 through 8 with this diagram. And some of you made me laugh. On the worksheet, we had A, B, C, D, E, and F as options. And some of you still gave me names. And I was thinking, well, I gave you options. You could have just put the letter. So just put the letter. It makes it easier. All right, first one says, what is another name for plane ABC? What's another name for this plane? Is it plane P, line D to C, line Q, plane G, point B, or point C? It should be plane G. Well, if we're naming a plane, it has to have the word plane. So our only options would have been A or D. D would have been the answer. Next one says, name a line. Look what they're asking you to do. Name a line. So you can already eliminate. Which ones can I eliminate just by that first part about naming a line? A, D, E, and F because they don't even have line or the symbol of a line. So which of the other ones, B or C, is coplanar with plane G? That means it's inside, all right? So coplanar means inside. Well, take it back. Yes, inside. That's safe to put. Inside. I just didn't want to write something that was going to confuse y'all. That's inside. So which one is inside that plane? Is it all of line D to C or line Q? Okay, it is D to C. Who would like to explain why it's not line Q? Yes. The dashes. Look at that. You already knew your answer. The dashes indicate that it's what?
That it's on top.
It's going through. So the dash part would be what's underneath your plane, okay? So DC, this should have been option B. All right, going on. Let point A be between B and C. And you want to draw this picture. So I'm going to draw point A between letters B and C. So here's B. Here's C. And did I say A is in the middle or just in between?
Between.
Just between. So don't put it in the middle because then you'll say, Ms. Carranza, it doesn't look right. Well, we're also drawing it freehand. All right, B to A is 66. So see, my picture doesn't match, but again, I drew it just by what the information was given to me. And then A to C is 18. Can someone tell me what I should do if I'm asking you to find me all of B to C? Add. Good. 66 plus 18. What'd y'all get? 84. Good, that's what I got. All right, next one. So see how the drawing kind of helps you see what operation it is? For some of the problems, it is easy. All right, find the length of Y to Z. Y is between X and Z. So here's X. Here's Z. And Y is somewhere between. XY is 8.2. X to Z, the whole thing, is 16.9, and I want you to find me Y to Z. What should we do? Subtract. Good. So let's do 16.9 minus 8.2. So 9 minus 2 is 7. 16 minus 8 is 8. So 8.7. All right. The next one, no solving. See that? They put it in capital and in bold. Only set up the equation, no solving. So I'm only asking you to set up the equation. So it says A, B, and C are collinear. What does collinear mean? On the same line. Good. So here's A, here's B, and here's C. And it says B is between A and C. A and B is 5x plus 2, and B to C is x minus 4. A to C is 23. So, and again, it's just the equation. Write an equation that could be used to determine the length of x. So how would I solve this? Who can tell me what I would do here? Yes?
Set it up like as if we were how we set up our algebra problem.
So what would I add? Or what would I do?
5x plus 2 plus x minus 4
Equals 23. There you go. You just add the two pieces and set it equal to the total. And that's all it's going to want. So you will have a question like this, and you just pick the one that best fits the problem. All right, so A, B, and C are still collinear. B is in between, but this time we're going to solve. So this time we do want to draw it. And when we set up the equation, we're going to go through and finish solving. So A, B, and C. It reads that A to B is 15. B to C is 3x minus 17. And I'm going to find A to C. Okay, so what would be my setup here? 15 plus 3x minus 17. 8x minus 12. Good. So we're going to combine like terms. What terms are alike? 3x and 8x. I'm going to put these together. Let's go ahead and let's move over the 3. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. What's 8 minus 3? 5x. So I'm going to bring down the 15, the minus 17, the 5x now, and the minus 12. Okay, now what can I combine? 15 minus 17. What's 15 minus 17? Negative 2. All right, what can I do now? And how do I move it over? Good. Add the 12. To eliminate it, you do need to do the opposite. So then we get 5x is equal to, you're right, 10. And then divide both sides by 5, and our x value is 2. And I believe that's all we wanted there. Good. So your x value is 2. Okay. More images. You ready? This one's asking which point marks the intersection of D to C and C to B. So I would definitely trace those with your pencil as you're reading the question. D to C and C to B. So at what point marks the intersection, or in other words, what is the intersection? Point C. All right, next one. So remember, vocabulary is important. Y is the midpoint of x to z. So here's x, here's z, and where's y located? Right in the middle. When something's in the middle, what should you know now? They're not coplanar. Congruent. It was with the C, right? It's okay. So it's congruent. That means they're the same. So you're allowed to add these markings. And you want to add them because then once we add the equations, once I add the x plus 21 and the 7x minus 33, then I can say, okay, if they're both the same, then they're both what to each other? Equal. Good. That means you're going to rewrite them and put an equal sign right in the middle. So x plus 21 equals 7x minus 33. So from here, it's just solving. So what should we do next? All right, so how do I move it over? Subtract it. 7 minus x is 6x minus 33. What else can we do? By adding it. So 33 plus 21 gives me, but we're adding them. 54. So what's our last step? Divide by 6. So what's our x equal to? 9. All right, let's read the question, make sure we answered it. I want you to find me x to z. So we did not answer the question. We found x. And be very careful tomorrow because I can guarantee that 9 is going to be an option. But that's not the answer, right? I want you to find me x to z. So x to z, if I'm looking at x to z, is it part of it or is it the whole thing? If I go from x to z. It's the whole thing. So we're going to plug it into one of them. And I want you to do it into the one that you find easier to plug into. Should I do x plus 21 or 7x minus 33? I would pick x plus 21 because I'm just adding 21. So 9 plus 21 is 30. Now this was x to y. Now if I know x to y is 30, that means only x to y is 30. How do I find the length of x all the way to z?
It's the same on the other side too.
It's the same on the other side too.
30 plus 30.
So 30 plus 30, good. X to z is going to be 30 plus 30. So x to z is going to be 60. Good. All right, next one. Don't be afraid of the word problems, guys. So this one says you're planting a tree in your backyard. You want to plant the tree halfway between the center of your vegetable garden and the corner of your fire pit. The center of the base of the garden is at this point. The corner of the fire pit is at this other point. Find where you should plant the tree. Halfway. Halfway could also be considered what?
In the middle.
In the middle. Kind of like midpoint. So if I'm asking for you to find the midpoint given coordinates, remember to use the formula. And all the formulas will be given to you. You just got to know what to use when, okay? So the formula is going to be x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Remember, we're just adding the x's, adding the y's. So what are my x's here? 125 and 50. So 125 plus 50 divided by 2. Now let's do the y's. What are my y's? 45 plus 245. Okay, let's add 150 and 125. What do we get? 175. Okay, and then 45 plus 245. That's 290. All right, now you just have to divide them for me. Let me know when you get after what you get after the dividing is done. All right, who would like to share their answer? Go ahead, Catherine. That's right, 87.5. And the other one?
145.
145, correct. All right, and those numbers are accurate. Okay, so when you see the word halfway, word problem, halfway, midpoint, okay? Hematula, need that mask up, hun. All right, next one. Given that point A is the midpoint of C to R, find C. Point C is at this point, and point A is at this other point. What is the missing point R? So let me draw this real quick. It says given that point A is the middle point on segment C to R. So I'm going to put C, I'm going to put R, and in the middle I'm going to put A. C is located at -5, 6. And A is located at 2, 1. And I want to know what R is. So when you draw it and you notice that you only have the middle and one of the ends, I want you to go through and label them. XM, YM, M is for middle point because A is in the middle. The one that was given to you, I want you to label it X1, Y1. So here are the formulas we're going to use. We're going to use X1 plus X2 divided by 2 is going to give me XM. Y1 plus Y2 divided by 2 is going to give me YM. And now we're just going to plug in whatever numbers we have labeled with those variables, okay? I thought that was going to move up. Oh, there we go. All right, so what did I label as X1? -5. For X2, I don't have anything, so you expect an X there. And then what's my XM? 2. Let's do the same thing with the Y's. What's your Y1? 6. My Y2 is Y. And my YM is 1. All right, the step for both of them is going to be the same. So what's the opposite of dividing by 2? Multiply by 2. This cancels out. -5 plus X equals 4. Let's do the same thing on the left side. Right, 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I'm left with 6 plus Y equals 2. What should be the last step with the X's? With the -5 plus X equals 4. What should be my last step there?
+5.
Plus 5? So let's add 5 to both sides. And where is your X? Your X is at 9. All right, let's subtract 6. Y is located where? -4, and those are your points. So your answer should be 9, -4. Now, though some of us did this a different way when we did the worksheet. And if you understand this method, please stick with this method. It'll be up there. Christina, head up, hun. All right. So, those of us that use the other method, that's when you were adding and subtracting from one side to the other side. So go start at the middle. Let me get a different color here. So I'm going to go from X in the middle to the X at the end. How do I get from 2 to -5? Do what? Subtract 7?
Yes, subtract 7.
So if I subtract 7 to go to one side, what do I need to do to get the other X? Add 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. And that's exactly what we had when we did the other method. All right, same thing with the Y's. So now with the Y's, I'm going to go from 1 to 6. How do I get from 1 to 6?
+5.
Plus 5. So the opposite would be 2
-5.
Minus 5. So what's 1 minus 5?
Negative 4.
-4. So some of you use this method, and that method works if you're good with adding and subtracting those numbers and being familiar with that number line. If not, I'm going to have this posted, so it's not like you have to memorize them. You just have to know how to apply them. Okay? All right. Last page. You guys are doing great. All right, last one. Find the distance between points M and R. Round your answer to the nearest tenths. So because it says distance, hopefully when you look at the board, you'll use the distance formula. And that's when we take the x's and we subtract them. We also take the y's and we subtract them. And we can label them. We can also just say, we're going to go from the first x to the second x. So what's my first x? 5. The second x is, okay, so we're going to do 5 minus -4. 5 minus -4. So once you've decided to go left to right, you got to keep that consistent. So let's do the same thing with the y's, okay? So let's do 8 minus 3 plus 8 minus 3 squared. Okay, once you've done this, I think this is the hardest part, because then from here, you're just doing whatever's inside. And even though we may not know that this turns to a positive, as long as you put 5 minus -4, the calculator will do it for you. So what's a negative and a negative? It makes it a positive. So what's 5 plus 4? So this becomes 9 squared. And 8 minus 3 is 5 squared. All right, who can give me 9 times 9? 81. Who can give me 5 times 5? 25. Can someone add 25 and 81 for me? All right, now I need y'all to take the square root. So it says round to the 10th. So is 10.3 the correct rounded answer? Yes. Yes? Okay. All right. All right, another word problem. Tim throws a frisbee from position 1, from a position that is 1 yard from the sideline and 3 yards from the goal line. Tony catches the frisbee at a position that's 3 yards from the goal line and 1 yard from the same sideline. How far was the frisbee thrown? Round your answers to the 10th place. So, we can do the distance formula here too. We could. We could do the distance formula, but what else could we possibly use? A triangle. So let's draw the triangle. We can draw the triangle. The only thing is I won't give you this formula. You'll have to remember it. So, how long is one side? And the other side? 2. And I'm looking for this side. So what formula is that we're trying to use? Okay. So which one's missing? A, B, or C? C. Good. So 2 squared plus 2 squared equals x squared. 2 times 2 is 4. And what's 4 plus 4? 8. And then let's take the square root of 8. And what do we get? What was your decimal? 2.82? So if we have 2.82 and I want to round it to the tens place, do I keep it at 0.8 or do I go to 0.9? It should be 0.8. The reason you keep it at 0.8 is because this number is the one that determines it. If that circled number is 5 or greater, then the number gets rounded up, okay? Now, with this said, with this problem, look at the sides. Look at the scale. Was it going by 1? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not going to be the case on the test. So if that confuses you, you can do the distance formula just like we did above. So if you wanted to do the distance formula, it's the same thing. The x is subtracted, and then the y subtracted, because this formula I will give you. So this would be 3 minus 1 squared. And you would still come out with the same thing. So this is the other option you have if we have a hard time reading the scale. Because again, these numbers are not going to be by going by 1 on the test. So you have to be careful, kind of like the football one we did on the notes that day. All right, from yesterday. So if you were absent yesterday, this is the awesome stuff you missed, all right? So it says, use the image below for problems 19 through 21. First, find the distance from A to C. So we're going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? The next one says, find the coordinate of x if a point is a fourth of the distance from A to C. So your first step is to always find the distance. Well, we just found it. What's the distance from A to C? 8. The second step is to take this number and do what with it? Multiply it by 1/4. But what number gets multiplied with the 8? Only the 1. So this is 8 divided by 4. What's 8 divided by 4? 2. We're moving 2, but we're going from A, right? This is your starting point. You start at A, because that's the first one that was listed. You're going from A to C. So if I'm going from A to C, am I going to the left or the right? Okay, so you're moving 2 to the right. So you're going to go back to point A, and you're going to move 2 to the right. 1, 2. So x is located at 0. Okay, we're going to try this again. Next one, it says find the coordinate of M. If M is a fifth of the distance from C to B. C to B, how far is it from C to B? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first step is 5. What's my second step?
Times 1 over 5.
Multiply by 1/5. And what gets multiplied by the 5? Only the 1. So this becomes 5/5. And what's 5 divided by 5?
1.
It's 1 move. Now this time we're going from C to B. If I go from C to B, am I going left or right? Left. So you're going to start at C, because that's the first one listed. C to B, 1 to the left, we end up at 5. So x is at 5.